Hi everybody, I'm Sarah, the Real Simple Mama, and my video today is going to show you how to change a baby's diaper, as well as give you some tips and suggestions. Now, if you're like me, before you had your own kid, you never really were around diapers or babies very much, so your own child may kind of be your first experience. Now, whether you're a new parent or you're a daycare worker or a nanny or you're going to be a babysitter, these are important skills to know, so I hope that this will help you out. Now, first of all, this is what a size 1 diaper looks like. And you will find that different brands have some different things, but here are some tips, particularly if you've got a newborn that you're talking about. Now, the first thing is this yellow stripe here. This is a color changing stripe, and it can be very useful because it will turn blue when the baby has peed or pooped, essentially when anything wet becomes in contact with this on the inside. So if you can find a brand that's got this color changing strip, that's really beneficial, because then you don't have to pick up your baby and do the infamous crotch sniff to see if they need a change. Now, the anatomy of the diaper looks something like this, and hopefully this will help you. Now, if you're a reader of mine on Real Simple Mama or of one of my ebooks, you know that this is the coffee filter that I'm talking about. You can see it here on both sides, and this is the back of the diaper and this is the front. These right here are called gussets, and these essentially make a seal around your baby's thighs. So you want to make sure that these are facing outward. This is the front of the diaper. If you've got a newborn, and I'll show you on the doll here in a minute, if you've got a newborn, they do make brands that have a cutout right here, because your newborn, before their umbilical stump falls off, you don't want the diaper to be rubbing on that cord stump. So you can either fold the diaper down like this underneath their belly button, or you can look for the ones that have that little half circle cut out. This back here, these are called the tabs. These are what will wrap around and close the diaper here on the front. So one of the biggest tips I can give you is that you need a consistent process when you're changing a baby. And it may not seem like that big of a deal to always lay the baby down a certain way and to do everything in a certain order. You probably have a process for when you wake up in the morning, for going to work, for when you get in your car. You do a specific list of things in a certain way. But let me tell you, especially if you are a new parent, you're going to be changing 10 to 15 diapers a day on a newborn. You're going to be tired, and there are going to be some of these changes that are done either when the baby's really fussy and they're squirming around and they're not really cooperating with you, or they're just going to be changes in the middle of the night when you're exhausted. So make a steady process to always do things a certain way, always lay the baby down a certain way, and have your stuff ready. And that way you can kind of go into autopilot when it comes to diaper changes. Now, I recommend that you lay your baby down. Obviously, it needs to be a firm, flat surface. It could be a bed, it could be a table, it could be the floor, or of course, it could be a changing table like mine. But I suggest that your dominant hand, the hand that you write with, be at the baby's posterior end, because this hand is going to be doing most of the work. For example, I'm right-handed, so my right hand is going to have the baby's butt, essentially. So I always lay down my kids just like this. Now, if you've got straps or buckles on your changing table, and the other piece is eluding me right now, you want to strap your baby down. Newborns won't be trying to roll over and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, but get into the habit now, because when they get older, they're going to try to be rolling around and turn into like a little trapeze artist, and so you just want them strapped down. The other thing I really recommend is get everything set up before you open up the dirty diaper. That way, if there's a leak or a blowout or something crazy happens, your stuff is already set up and ready to go. So with that being said, you have your baby laid down, they're strapped in. And while they're strapped in, that's when I get all of my stuff ready. Now, I get a diaper out and I open up the diaper. I make sure that the gussets are facing outward. I get the tabs ready and I lay it down like this. This is the back of the diaper, and I lay it down like this so that I can just grab it and put it under my baby. If you have a pee diaper, chances are you only need one wipe. If it's a poopy diaper, just be ready for more. And this is what I mean. If you are one of my readers, you know what I'm talking about. With interlocking wipes, you really, really, really want wipes to where you pull one, just like a good quality box of Kleenex, the next one is here ready to go. That way you're not scrambling and digging for another wipe while your baby's like kicking around over here in their own mess. So pull out your wipes, get everything ready. Now, I'll be honest with you. The newborn hospital class that I went to before my first kid was born said to lay the clean diaper underneath your kid while they still have the dirty diaper on. So essentially you do this, and then you take the old diaper off, and that way you've got sort of a catch-all here underneath. I've been changing diapers now for over 3 years. I didn't get into that habit. I don't know why, but that it is a really good tip. So you're going to take off the old diaper. Again, your child is strapped in, wrap it up, and this is what I do with an old diaper. I wrap it front to back, tab it closed, and then throw it away. That'll save the most space in your diaper pail, and it'll stay closed if you use these little Velcro-like tabs. When it comes to putting on the new diaper, I grab the back, grab both of their feet or both of their ankles. This is something that will be easy when they're a newborn. It will get more challenging as they get more active. Lift them up, and you want to make sure this gets past their crack, to be honest. So you're going to put it high enough here behind them. Flatten out. This is what I'm doing underneath the baby. I'm flattening out the back so that I can easily grab both tabs. So I just do a stretch, and then I lay the baby down. Now again, if they've got, and of course this doll is really small, but if they've got an umbilical cord stump, you're going to fold this underneath. And then you're going to make sure, as I move this doll's arms out of the way, you want to make sure that your tabs come across and make a nice, good seal. And I'll give you a couple of other suggestions here in a second. So the two things you're looking for, come here, after the tabs are done, and of course this diaper is way too big, but firstly you want to make sure that the gussets are all facing out. If they are tucked in like that, I guess it's like the equivalent of a baby wedgie, then you're going to be more prone to have a leak right here, whether it's pee or poop. And especially if you're breastfeeding, their newborn poop is very liquid. It's like mustard. So you want to make sure you're not having any leaks. So you're looking at the gussets on both sides. The other thing you want to look at, now don't do this with your baby, but the other thing you want to check is to make sure that this is nice and firm along the back of your baby. You don't want it to be creating like a horrible muffin top or like cutting off circulation, but you want it to be snug enough that if they have a blowout, which is where they poop this liquid so quickly, it's like, you know, a ketchup bottle that's almost empty, the poop just flies up their back. So you want to make sure that this is nice and snug so it can hold that poop in instead of it going literally all the way up their back. Okay, now a few other suggestions. If you need to use diaper rash cream, this is what I use for disposables. It's Aquaphor. Target and some other stores make their own brand. It is just a skin protectant. I only put it on if my child has a rash, and my kids very rarely get rashes. If you change your child promptly, hopefully they won't get diaper rash very often. But if they do, the key here is that you wipe your baby, and then before you put the diaper rash cream on, it said that it's a skin protectant and it makes a seal on the skin. Now that's great because it keeps any other urine or anything else with ammonia from burning your baby's skin while it's healing. But the problem is that this creates a seal. So if your baby's butt is still wet from a wipe, for example, that's got this wet residue on it, if you just wipe your baby with a baby wipe and then you put diaper rash cream on, you're sealing in all of that moisture. You don't want that. So if you need to put diaper rash cream on, this is what I would suggest. You wipe with the wet wipe, get all of the nastiness off, all of the poop, anything like that. Make sure that you're checking the folds of your baby, okay? And then you need to pat dry. I honestly just pat dry with the clean diaper, but make sure that there's no moisture residue left on there before you put the diaper rash cream on. You don't want to seal in more moisture because that's just going to hinder the process of them getting better. The last suggestion that I've got for you in regards to wiping your baby. Now, if you have a son and they have been circumcised, you need to check with your pediatrician on how to clean and take care of that area. If you have a son who is intact, don't do anything weird with the foreskin or the tip of the penis. Just wipe them clean. You don't need to do anything else. If you've got a girl, because we're always more work, right? If you have a girl, get in the habit of always wiping from front to back, whether it's pee or poop or both. The problem is with a girl, you don't want to wipe fecal matter from the back up into the vagina. Okay, that's bad. That's bacteria that should not be here. It can cause infections and all kinds of problems. So even if she just peed, always get in the habit, always wipe front to back, and that's it. Once your baby is nice and clean, again, you're checking for the seal around the legs with the gussets. You're making sure if they haven't lost their umbilical stump that is clear. And you can see, boop, you can see that the stump right there. And then you're making sure you're nice and snug here along the back. Okay, so hopefully that has given you a few suggestions on how to create a process for changing the diaper, as well as just getting a feel for what this looks like. I hope this has been helpful. Let me know. I'm Sarah, the Real Simple Mama.